Hey, welcome to Total Schmidt Show. It's Tuesday night at the volume is very high, very high, very high. Hang on, we're still tweaking. You know what? Let's go with let's start here. Well, it's Tuesday night, Total Schmidt Show. Buckle up. Hey, welcome to Total Schmidt Show. Whether you're watching on the Lenny Schmidt Comedy Network on YouTube or you're listening on podcast, we have a new intro, new theme song. Let's do this. Hey, tune in every week as I travel the world and I talk to entertainers from all over the world. A lot of writers, a lot of comics, a lot of dancers, a lot of singers, a lot of comics, a lot of producers, a lot of tech people, a lot of comics, a lot of pianists, piano player type people.
Check.
You know what I'm talking about. Musicians and lots of comics. Every once in a while, we'll throw in a comedy sketch, something like that, some music, some travel stuff. We'll even do a live remote from one or two of the ports they happen to be hanging out at.
That's it. That's the whole show. And I'm going to record it all and put it on the intraweb. Sometimes. Usually late. Always late. Maybe. I don't know. And weekly? No. Maybe. Sort of.
Either way, sit back, grab a beer, light a joint, and enjoy this week's episode of... Hey guys, welcome to Total Schmidt Show. It's Tuesday night, 6 o'clock, March 12th. If you watch the show regularly, thank you. Thank you for being here. If you're just tuning in, it's me talking to other entertainers. And today's my brother Mike. We're going to get to it pretty quick. I got people here already, so we're going to get there pretty quick. Do me a favor before we get started. Hit the thumbs up video. Like the video now before you realize that you hate it and it's horrible. So that's how we're going to roll. We're going to get right to it. Also subscribe to the channel, all that stuff. Look above me. You'll see tickers. You'll see information. It'll come by. They'll give you all kinds of stuff. How to follow me on social media, how to follow my Patreon, all that good stuff. But let's just get right to the show because we have limited time. Folks, I've known this guy for 50 plus years. Give it up the one and only Mike Schmidt. There he is. Look, Mike Schmidt.
Hi, how are you? Look, and here's the we're going to talk about this because normally when I do this, it's on Zoom. And so I look directly into my laptop and I talk to you that way. And you set it all up. We're at my house, my apartment, and there's microphones and laptops and cameras. And you never told me where to look. I don't know where to look. What I don't know.
I thought there's a camera right here.
You're here.
Yeah.
Which is good. And so is it like, are we chatting? Is it
yeah,
one of these
talk
deals?
to me. Just talk to me.
All right. Because you never told me.
To me. I had a lot to do. I had a lot to prepare.
Well, I understand that, but you should at one point go, hey, I should tell the talent what's on deck.
Oh, I had over under how long you were going to bring up the word the talent.
It's all I have to cling to.
It was less than a minute.
It's all I have to cling to. Seriously, this is all I have is this what I used to be. So I'm happy to cling to it in front of everybody desperately. So all right. So I look now because there's a camera here.
I know,
and that's showing me you.
Yeah. Oh, you can watch me through the camera.
I certainly can.
Or you can make eye contact with me.
And also, people are getting look at my personal photos now. I don't know. We should have thought about this background now. People can see my apartment.
Exactly. I like the fact they don't see your personal photos. They see my camera in your shot.
Okay. Well, no, because I can see. Oh, because you got a green screen behind you?
Yeah. You have a green behind you.
Behind me, but in you though.
Like, here's the view. See that there's the view.
Oh, so they can see my house though. That's what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, for the most part, yeah.
All right, so I'm here. All right, I'm over here. Hi.
Now you got it. Okay.
Well, I knew there was a second camera. Folks, we're professionals. We are professionals. Clearly, the first ever podcast I did was Never Not Funny, and it was me, Jimmy Pardo, and Matt Belknap. And the first episode was called the Lost episode for a while because I think we spent 25 minutes talking about the mixing board, the soundboard, the microphones, and how it worked.
Oh, that's great.
And that's all we did. Because again, it was new. It was 2006, 6, and we talked about it forever. And it ended. And Jimmy was like, "That felt good, right?" And then later, as we pondered it, we were like, "Yeah, except we did tech talk for like a fucking half an hour." So now it's funny that I would be doing this with you now, and here we are, certainly 9 cameras, 4 laptops. And lighting problems and issues. And
I have one thing but I haven't heard you go. I can't believe you got this all set up and ready to go by 6.
I was getting there. You cut me off.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Who cuts off the talent?
I'm that kind of director. I'm actually very impressed I was able to pull this off. I got everything in passwords and everything all. And
well, you came to my
right
apartment today. We had a whole day scheduled.
Right.
Because this was going to be a fun day, everybody. We were just going to hang out.
It is a fun day.
Hold on. Let me finish. We were going to get here, and he's like, "Hey, man, what if I came over to your house and we watched some movies?" Like, he never comes over to my place. For like opening day of baseball season, maybe. But he's just busy. He's constantly on a ship. He's on the road. He's got my nieces to take care of. So he's always a busy man. So he's like, "Hey, man, I'm in town for a week. Why don't I come to your place? We'll watch some movies. It'll be totally fun. We'll get some food." I said, "That would be great." And I agreed to it. I was all set. And then the next day he's like, great, and we can shoot a podcast in the middle of it. And so I gotta comb my fucking hair? Like, I mean, dude, I just want to watch movies with you. Is that possible? Could you just come to my place and watch? No, man, content creator. So, fuck. So we're watching a movie, and, we're heading into the home stretch. There's 32 minutes left in the film. And then he's like, all right, because he'd seen the movie, which I didn't know. And he's like, hey, man, I got to set everything up. So you can let it play, or we can watch it later. So I chose to watch it later because I don't like being incomplete. Like, I don't like, if he starts working while the movie's running, I'm like, why the fuck did we even watch the first 2 hours? We could have bailed. And also, if you're wondering what the movies are, we're watching Justice League. And we're watching Zack Snyder's Justice League. Now, I did not know he had already seen Joss Whedon's.
You didn't?
No.
Because I wanted to watch both. We're going to say hello to some people in here.
Okay, in a second.
Yeah.
I'm talking. I
knew I wanted to see this. That's the whole reason I've been putting off watching the Snyder Cut, because I don't want to watch it. I wanted to watch it back to back.
Right.
And every time I'm like, I don't have 7 hours to do that.
And we did today. It was going to be so exciting. We had 7 hours to do it. And then, in the middle of it, by the way, you're doing a television show. We're going to have to hire a makeup artist, and we're going to get you propped up into the chair and ready to go. Are you ready? You ready to go live? Is that going to be a cool thing?
Well,
No, fuck, I'm on my couch. If I got high, I'd be high. I mean, we're watching fucking Justice League.
Yeah.
But instead, in the middle of it, are you ready for your close-up, Mr. Schmidt? I guess I am. So we're Sunset Boulevarding this show in between Justice Leagues. So just so you know, this was supposed to be a fun day. And now it's a fun day with a bit of an interruption. We'll try to make it as fun for you as possible.
It's even more fun for me now.
Oh, my goodness. So he came over.
Let's just see you get worked over. Now I'm the talent?
So it's
we're doing a TV show? This is supposed to be a fun day.
Well, it was.
It's supposed to. What else were you going to be fucking doing right now?
I'd be over there. That's the fun day. So at 5:30, he's like, hey, man, I'm going to set all this up. And I didn't, again, I don't. Look, I don't.
You make it sound like it broke through your house with a team.
Burst in.
Move to one.
Yeah, I wish you had. Honestly, I wish you had a team, because we could have watched the rest of the fucking movie while they set this fucking shit up. But otherwise, what happened instead?
20 minutes.
He comes over here and he's got a hump through being crew, and he's like, I got a tripod. Wait, I got another tripod, and we got cameras, and I need lights. Right now I have a kitchen light on. I have an overhead light, a ring light, 2 computer screens. He's got this. He's like, what's your Wi-Fi password? I told him 15 times because he's got it on 5 different devices, and he keeps getting kicked out. And so this fun afternoon of watching a film, and I know some of you are like, Justice League sucks. Fine. But in the middle of Justice League in the theater, when you were there, nobody said, hey, get up and fucking clean the theater for half an hour. So I wasn't prepared. I agreed to this. I'm here under false pretense, is my point.
Okay, because there's a lot of people watching it.
I'm sure there are. I'm here under duress.
They're worried about you. Some of them are calling doctors.
Boy, I need a cold compress. I need something. So again, I enjoy doing this. I love seeing my brother. It's wonderful to do, and this is the first time we're ever doing it in the same room. I just was lured in that he lined up a whole bunch of fucking M&Ms, and then I ate them, and then he pulled the stick, and now I'm under a box getting filmed. That
Dude,
I didn't
even
expect
Ben, my Patreon member, is the talent is here now.
You goddamn right. Did he capitalize talent?
Yes, he did.
You fucking better. You fucking better, Ben. You better, you Ben.
He knows. He asks about you all the time.
I'm sure he does.
He does.
Why
all right, man. Hi, Shauna. Hi, Lori. Oh, Lori's here. Hi, Lori Slonka's here. Hi, Laura. Hi, Shauna. Hi, everybody.
Lori or Laura?
Laura.
Who's here?
Lori.
Hi, Lori.
I got Lori.
Hi, Shauna.
Gar's here.
Gar,
my man.
Everybody loves
Robin Greenberg is here. Hi, Robin. How are you? Good to see you.
Wait, no, real quick. I'm going to stop you there on Robin Greenberg, and we're going to go back a second.
Okay.
I saw a photo of Gar on Facebook. He came up and he didn't come up my feed. It was just one of those things where like, hey, I think I'm friends with him. I might be. I might not be. I don't know. But somehow Gar made his way into my stream, my page. And Gar, were you wearing eye black in this photo? Is there a possibility that at the age of 60, whatever the fuck, you're somehow putting eye black on your face? Is that a thing? What are you? I don't know. So tell me, please, if you're wearing eye black in the photo and I'm wrong.
Maybe it's the bad flash photos from like the 60s. Remember those where you get a bad flash? Remember the flash cubes?
Yeah.
Remember actual cubes you put on top of the camera? And every once in a while get a bad flash and a picture would come out.
You're absolutely right. I would much prefer he was wearing eye black than using some fucking camera from 1963. Gar, are you filming the Zapruder film in your house? Is that what's happening? And somehow Abraham put some eye black on you so they wouldn't catch the president getting shot in the background? What the fuck, man?
That was part of the alibi.
It was. He lured Gar in. Gar, were you on the grassy knoll? Is that where you were?
Scott Sarna is here, and he called us Schmidt his favorite lawyers.
You know, Scott Sarna is the best. He's a Canadian gentleman. He's a huge Rush fan. And
yes,
yeah.
All right, right on.
And I just went because I went to remind people that we were going live. Because I had the time as you set up 47 video devices.
Oh boy, you're gonna beat this.
And so I went into the Joker's page, which is my fan club page. Hey, if you're not a fan of me, I get that. But if you'd like to be someone who joins the fan club page, it's called the Westside 86 Jokers page. It's on Facebook. Because why would I call it the Mike Schmidt fan page? That would just be too easy for people. I demand that they know some obscure reference from year one of my podcast, which, by the way, that's true. Adam Welker, who's a great fucking guy, reaches out, helps me out all the time. Adam Welker was the guy. Oh, can people see me? What are you
They
moving?
can see you. Just relax.
You're moving stuff.
I am moving stuff.
But it seems like you moved it away
It's
from
all
me.
behind the scenes. Wait. Now it's behind the scenes.
All right. Where am I looking? Am I looking into this lens?
No, you can look right at me. I just want to make sure your shot is good.
Okay.
But just your eye line's me. Your eye line's
Okay,
me.
that's just let me know because I've been going.
I've
this
mentioned
route.
it 3 times. A good actor or
Not
talent.
really.
You would think the talent would listen.
Well, again, maybe there should have been some sort of pre-show meeting or rehearsal. Could that have been a thing?
I didn't know you needed after 30
No,
years of okay.
no,
my
we want
bad.
that man
I
doing
apologize.
somersaults
I
for 2
should've-
hours, and then you're like, "Hey, man, I got to set up some cameras." I'm like, "Great."
you make it sound like we were just sitting here. And
We
I go-
were.
and all of a sudden they go, "Hey, look, I got my camera.
Let's do
I got my
this."
microphone."
But you know what? That's the nature of the fucking beast.
Dude, you got the flyers yesterday.
This is the nature of the beast now, though. I'm telling you, it is this bullshit where everybody does. Like here, completely true. Siegel fucking sends me this thing on Instagram right now because look, I'm woeful on my podcast, putting it out. I've been behind. I just put one out like a couple weeks ago. I need to put another one out. Well, it doesn't matter.
Not like you.
But the shut up. The point is, I've just found myself in this. I'm like, am I just of the tiniest voice in the din because everybody's shouting? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, why should I shout? And I've had ideas for other shows. I've had ideas for other things to bring to the table and do and stream. And Siegel sent me a clip the other day, and it's a fucking guy in a car eating a sandwich for like 90 seconds. He's eating a sandwich and saying dumb shit.
I know, dude.
And I wrote him, and I go, this guy has 1.4 million followers.
I know.
And I wrote Siegel, I go, 1.4 million followers? I go, you know what, I've always thought about doing, because people have been, I've always said, I threatened. I'm like, I should do like a food review show or like a movie review show or something. I go, but it's the lowest hanging fruit because every fucking idiot with a camera does it.
Yeah.
And all he wrote me was, he goes, I quote Boogie Nights, "You're holding on too tight, Jack. Doesn't have to look good." And I was like, you know what, man? You're fucking. He's right.
Yeah, that's
because
great.
in my brain, I
Yeah.
think it's need to be professional. You need to do this and do that, and instead, you and I are in a fucking treehouse
No.
talking to people
I know.
all over the world, all over the fucking
No,
world.
I know, dude.
Even when I do Twitch, it's the same thing. I've been playing some video game, and I got a buddy in England
Yeah.
who jumps in, and he's like, "Hey, you know what's up? What's up, bruv?" He might say bruv. I don't know if he does. He's
They say
English.
bruv in England?
Yeah, hello, bruv.
Oh.
No, that's more of an Australian deal because Will Ospreay says it all the time. He's a wrestling guy.
Really?
Yeah, but the point is, anybody like I said this when the pandemic started, and it's what led to my troubles. Where I was like,
This led to your troubles?
Yes. Well, they date back perhaps the more recent
How
edition.
far back are we going in
The
years?
most recent edition of my troubles started with this.
The most recent.
Yeah,
For the new
clearly.
edition.
Yeah, this era of my troubles. We're in a new era, everybody. It is this thing where everybody in the fucking world wants their artwork on your fridge. Everybody. There's somebody with a camera at a graveyard, and I'm like, what are you doing, man? Get a job. No, let's look at these floral arrangements. Hey, here's me with a guitar by the pool singing Buffett songs or whatever the fuck. And I good for you. That's the way it is because I don't know. Like I find myself I watched something on fucking TikTok yesterday, and again, it's just a dude doing a fucking fake Star Trek thing, him talking to himself for 45 seconds, but he
Yeah.
put on a fucking garbage bag and he painted his face up, and in my head I'm just like, what's the fucking point, man?
Well, dude, I look at, because I go down these, I'm on YouTube a lot. I go down the YouTube hole and I'll take a look at videos and see how many hits they have. And I'm shocked. I'm like, this guy's 5 million, 10 million.
Well, same deal. I have a YouTube channel, and of course I do nothing with it except put the podcast up because I'm a fucking genius, and I didn't even put the podcast up. My buddy KC does it. But I'm watching a lot of YouTube recently, because I found all these old music shows from the 70s and 80s, Midnight Special, all these concerts and stuff.
I watch all that.
But I watch. There's a wrestling thing I watch too, and then I'll watch hockey highlights. I always watch hockey highlights. At the end of the night, I'll watch like the Canucks because they're my team this year. So then I get
Your
a lot
team
of
this year.
Yeah, because the Hawks blow. I mean, I'm a
right,
Hawks
you are.
fan.
You have a
but-
backup team, just
Yeah. Because again, when I go on, I get all the games. So when I go on at night, I want to make it a fun team to watch, and it's usually a team on the West Coast because otherwise the East Coast games are finished. You know what I mean? So I love, and the Canucks are fun and exciting. So anyway, I get a lot of hockey in my algorithm, and then there'll be these fucking again, it's some dumb fuck eating a bowl of soup talking about hockey fights, and it says 180,000 views, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Well, you know what they do now that I've been noticing a lot on YouTube that makes me even madder? There are guys that have YouTube shows of them reviewing other YouTube clips.
Yep.
So they just put up, like, it'll be like, Rogan says this, I'll go, oh, let me see the segment from Rogan Show. It's not. It's a guy going, so this week on Rogan Show, and it keeps working its way down.
Yeah.
So eventually it's going to be shows of guys going, this week on Kiefer Show, this week on Johnny's Breakdown of Kiefer Show, this week in...
I think the first or second year of the podcast, I can't remember when, I got reviewed by a podcast that reviews podcasts.
Yeah.
And they hated it. And I was like, you've got... I saw it the next... I did a show on them, of course, the next week.
Of course,
I
right.
I eviscerated
What do these
them.
people know?
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck, man? I've been reviewed a couple times. I got reviewed. It was so funny. I got reviewed by The Onion when The Onion used to do it, the AV Club.
Oh, that's cool.
Podcast. Yeah,
How was that?
But the show they listened to was it was the show right after my divorce.
Yeah.
Like Karen split on a Tuesday, and I recorded Wednesday.
Oh, Jesus.
And I was a fucking mess.
I bet. How long is that show?
It was no, it wasn't a crazy marathon because I would have drowned because of the tears. But I was
trying
always
to be going live, dude.
I fell apart, yeah. But I did it. I mean, and the fans were the fans, and so I always kind of included them in my life. And they knew Karen; she's essentially a character on the show. So she was gone. I came home to a note on the desk in her empty closet. It was so fucking like a movie.
Oh, dude.
But totally deserved. She should have absolutely gone.
Right.
Terrible husband.
Right.
But The Onion then listens to that show, and they're like, this raw destruction, like this, whatever. They loved it, but it was like, but now in my brain, I'm like, wait, are people going to tune in next week? And I got to be like, and then another thing happened. I mean, it's, it was always foibles and things that had happened. I mean, not a whole lot's going to clear the divorce bar. You know what I mean?
No.
But
No, that's a fresh one. I mean, doing that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the YouTube algorithm, they have these guys, and another one too is they'll be like, Connor McDavid, you won't believe what he did. Like that's the name of the video,
Right.
And it's got 250,000 views, and I'm like, and you know what it is?
Yeah.
Is he guess what he did? He scored a goal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't
he
watch
does
them
nothing. Right.
because even if I'm curious, I refuse to participate in the clickbait part of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even though I'm supposed to be immersed in it, I'm supposed to be trying to get people.
Yeah.
So I should be doing everything I can to fucking blow whistles and juggle and get people to, hey, look at me.
Yeah.
But instead, I hide in the dark. It's dumb.
Dude,
it's so weird.
Dude, I don't think it's hiding in the dark though. Like what I do with this show, like I'm trying to get my numbers up and all this stuff, but I don't want to let's do a food video through whatever. I like this show where I talk to other entertainers,
Yeah.
and if people dig it, they can listen to it. If they don't, then they can leave. To me, that works, and I think eventually, in the long run, there'll be a market for that. It doesn't have to be huge, just big enough for me to survive.
Sure.
And I think I think that eventually, that down the road, that's there. So I'm not trying to go. Everyone's like, you need this and this and this. I'll work on the thumbnails and the tags and the keywords and all that shit.
Yeah.
But
I love the term. I hope it's just enough for me to survive. as if you're going to die if some people don't watch this stupid interview.
Well, you know what I mean.
Oh my god! I know. I'm just making fun of the language choice. As long as it's enough for me to survive in the wild. Chongo! I'm just on an island somewhere. And the only thing keeping me alive is coconuts and talking to entertainers.
That's all. If they take that away from me, I don't know
I don't know what I'm going to do.
I don't know if I can make it.
I'm off in a field biting sugar cane, just waiting for the next cruise director to hop through and give me a fucking story I can exploit.
Okay, Label Larry's here. Hi from Tanya and Mike.
Oh, Tanya and Mike, they're terrific. They are in Canada. They're lovely people.
A lot of Canadian fan base for you. What's going on there?
You know what? I was bigger in Canada than America for a while. I don't know if I still am, but I mean, I have friends. I've become friends with the people in Canada, not just listeners or whatever. Because that's another thing I'm on the fence about all the time is fans.
Yeah.
I always, and again, look, this gets to me, and I'm sure it's a therapy thing and whatever the fuck. It's always weird to say fans. Because they're my friends, and I think anybody who listens is a friend. Because again, the show is so personal; it's about my life. I feel if you're listening, you're a friend of mine. You know what I mean?
Right.
Recently, I've had some people write me to tell me how terrible I am, so I'm going to say they're no longer friends of mine.
Are those enemies or nemesis?
Perhaps they may be nemesis. They could be.
They're nemesis.
Nemesis.
You have nemesis. That's how bad you are.
Multiple.
You have
Plural.
Yeah.
I have plural
You have
nemesis.
plurality. There are plural villains in your life.
Whatever. It comes with the territory. You know that. But I mean, But Tanya and Mike are fantastic, and they are great. I had Canadian Thanksgiving with them this year.
Oh, right on. Okay, that's cool.
Or last year, I should say, last year.
I remember, when is that? That's October, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Might be September.
I'm not sure. I know Brent and Sarah, two magicians that have been on my show 2 or 3 times. And the last time I had them on the show, they were getting ready to go back home.
Oh, cool.
So I think it was around that time. It might be later. It might be December. I don't know.
When I go to Canada, I stay at my buddy Ken's house, and then Tanya and Mike come over. Tanya and Mike.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's great. So I'm glad that they're here. That's very nice of them.
Nice. Right on.
She sent me. They sent me for Christmas this year. She sent me a bunch of chips.
Oh,
and I was doing. All right. So I was doing non-keto. I was doing keto, I should say.
Right.
And I since January, I was eating low carb and a lot of stuff, and so I didn't open the box for like a month and a half because I knew what it was going to be.
Okay.
And then finally, I opened it because I wanted to know who sent it. So I said, "Did you happen to send me?"
Was it obscure potato, like an
yeah, they
like
know
those
me.
weird flavors that
you
can't
so
find anywhere?
They sent weird. What they were is Trailer Park Boys has a brand of chips.
No
and
way.
so they sent me all dressed chips, which
Yeah.
are Canadian, and ketchup chips.
Yeah.
And then what it called Dirty Burger. It was a hamburger chip.
Okay.
And it's funny. I was like, doing the whole point was to go low carb until the beginning of March.
Right.
So then, and then I'm like, well, I should go online and eat them. And then it was like one night here in the first week of March, and I'm like, fuck this. And I opened all the chips and ate them.
Did you really?
Monster. It was like literally, and I ate them very much like fucking Cookie Monster, where I didn't swallow
Rah,
any
rah,
of them,
rah, rah,
and
rah,
just
rah.
crumbs. So to review, Tanya, they were fine. Thank you so much for thinking of me and sending them. The burger was the best. The all dressed
Yeah,
tasted
that
like
sounds
the all
good,
dressed.
man.
Yeah. And then I'll tell you what, when I go to Canada, dude, ketchup Doritos.
Well, you brought them home once.
Oh, okay.
They're
Well,
pretty good.
yeah, that's right, because they started to sell them here.
Yeah, yeah.
But I told you the ones in Canada are a little more mild than the ones here. They were very aggressive here, more vinegary.
Right.
They were so savory, I couldn't stop eating them in Canada.
Okay.
Like I fucking put a bag away in like an hour. I was just like, I kept reaching. It was so crazy.
I did this week. I had blood test done, and I'm done yesterday. I got it back already. Like I couldn't believe it. Yeah, I had my
It was
checkup.
that serious. They're like, sir.
Well, I can't. I don't know. Whatever. I did have my checkup in November. Every year I have around November. The doctor goes, "Your blood sugars are off. You might be becoming diabetic." And I go, "How about you give me a couple of months to retake those tests?" And I go, because I had not been eating well last year. Like it was around a time where I knew,
Sure.
like I haven't been eating well. I've been,
Well, but your lifestyle lends itself to being sometimes on the go. Sometimes
Yeah, but that's why it's even
quick,
more important to me to touch with those numbers, because the second they start to get weird, the doctor's like, you need to do this and this, and I go, okay, cool, because I have an option to eat decently when I travel. You just got to look in the right places. That's
But
all.
also, bang bang.
I drink. Yeah, the booze is. I mean, that'll hit you too. But I don't do. I don't like show nights. I don't drink. I don't drink. I fly. There's diffs. My drinking habits have changed. It's funny. I still have really high tolerance, so I can drink a lot in one
Hammer
night.
King.
Yes, I mean I could, but now it's the next 2 days that I'm like, ugh,
Really?
I don't feel good. Yeah, and I don't want to drink anymore. So I drink less, but I drink more in one day, but less over the week.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But the whole point of that story was my doctor said your sugars are off. So I got the test yesterday. I got back immediately. Like, oh, that can't be good. I get started. Emergency check this. I check it. Everything's in line. Not only is everything in line, my doctor sends me an email. Goes, hey, everything's fine. Your sugars look good. And I heard, and like that, I ate a box of Girl Scout cookies. Gone. You
Sure.
Bar patties.
Just housed them all.
Same way. Just I couldn't believe
Get
it.
out of jail free
My sugar's
card
back.
Well, also remember as a kid, you weren't you pre-diabetic?
I was borderline diabetic.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
where I was
borderline.
headed again.
That's the word, borderline.
And they were
Borderline
like,
diabetic,
because I
yeah.
spent all that time getting those blood tests when I was a kid, and they thought I was going to have to go on insulin, but I was always borderline.
Yeah.
And I just kind of came off it. And
Do you
then in
know-
my adult life, I've eaten really well. For the most part, I eat really well. So.
Do you know that I snort sugar out of a sugar bowl like with a straw like cocaine, and I'm fine? You
I
aware of that?
I know.
Okay, just
I
let
know.
you know.
That's the Minnesota Fats rule of fucking health.
It's like when
by the way.
Siegel,
If you know-
well, Siegel's, he's beautiful. I mean, he's a statue.
Right.
And he wound up with some stuff with tests and this and that, and he's got to take a medicine.
Besides the eye thing? Because he had an eye thing.
Well, the eye thing
Yes.
was, yeah. No,
Yeah.
it was just something completely different. And it was that thing where you're just like, you're for your friend, you're like, oh man, that's a fucking drag, whatever.
Yeah.
But in your head, you're just like, but you know what? Dude,
Yeah.
I ate a ham yesterday.
Yeah.
And nothing happened to me. I am unkillable.
I'm going to go eat another ham.
Yeah, you know what? I'm two-fisted ham from this fucking point on, just to prove a fucking point. And you know what? I'm going to zoom you. I'm going to fucking zoom you with my ham eating.
Well, this last doctor's was the first time I went to the doctor. I got, well, years ago, I got a, you better watch this. But for the most part, something will go in the week before the doctor, and I go, oh, this is not going to be well. I'm going to get my tests. And it's always around the holidays. I go, I should have done it before Thanksgiving. And I drank. I go, my number's got to be off. Yeah. And I checked. I go, you're really healthy for you. Oh, great, thanks. I love it. Yeah. That means I can drink more. Or, you know,
before you had that Stanley drinking gravy boat that you've been carrying around during the holidays.
Yeah. Now I'm like, glug, 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 glug.
I will tell you this. 2 weeks ago, was it? I think it was 2 weeks ago. I got drunk.
No. Yeah. Wow. How did that happen?
Well, I will I'm going to warn everybody who's watching. This will be on the podcast. I apologize.
No, this is like a sneak tease.
It is.
On the next one you record?
Yeah.
So this will be August? Okay.
No, July. What do you think I am? August.
Have some class, you ass.
Jeez. I went to poker. It was Pat's birthday.
Okay.
And we went to a 2-day. We had a 2-day deal. We were supposed to. We had plans where we were going to go walk with wolves.
Okay.
It's a place. It's like a fucking compound, and we would go there and stay. And Pat Wolfskin's 60th birthday.
Yeah.
And then it just fell apart because it's like I guess it was really expensive.
Because you guys realized wolves could.
Well,
eat
we're dumb too,
sure.
but I mean, I was in. He was like, whatever you're doing, I'm doing it. And we were all going to go. It was a bunch of us.
Right.
And then it turned out. I don't know if it was the pandemic fuck with the prices or things changed over the course of a year because he told us this a year ago.
Right.
And then it just turned into he's like, yeah, man, it's way crazy, like the price.
Yeah.
So we went to a concert instead. We played poker on Wednesday and then a concert on Thursday, all of us. And I went to poker, and Pat has a Rock Solid podcast. Hey, if you'd ever watched or listened to the Rock Solid podcast, go check it out. Pat's great. Mm-hmm. And he collects autographs. He's got walls of them, vinyl, whatever. But also he collects Rockstar booze. Like, so we used to play, during the pandemic, we'd play poker every Sunday night on Zoom, and he'd be drinking fucking Sammy Hagar's tequila, or, all these, whatever.
Kisses vodka, cold gin.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
So, all right, so that's the thing. He brought, Siegel got him the cold gin for his birthday.
Oh, right on. Nice.
So he brought the cold gin, but he also brought Rod Stewart's whiskey.
No way. Okay.
Rod Stewart's got some whiskey. So he asked me, he's like, do you want, I go, I want to try the cold gin. I want to see, and he's like, well, I'll make a gin and tonic, because he was drinking it too.
Yeah.
And I got a gin and tonic with lime or whatever. I didn't know what they are. And so I sat down and I sipped it. And, gins, I don't like booze. You know me. I don't have the palate for it. I don't like the taste. It doesn't taste good.
Right.
So, but I sipped it, and I would let it sit, and we're playing poker. And as the ice melted, it started to taste, I tasted really good. Like, it was like the lime and everything. It just, for some reason, it worked.
Oh, this is how it starts.
So I'm at the table, and I'm sitting, and I even said out loud, I go, man, and Pat's like, you like that? It's like an hour later. And I go, as the ice melts, it actually tastes so good. It's like a lot better. And Gil Martin goes, oh, you have never proved more that you're not an alcoholic. He goes, if you're saying you don't want the taste of booze, clearly you don't have a problem.
Yeah, right.
So then they did shots of he's like, everybody's got to do a shot of the Rod Stewart whiskey or whatever. And so I said, all right, I'll do a shot. And I banged one, and then Chip was being a troublemaker, and Chip's like, another one, Schmitty? Because I can, I can chug.
Yeah, because he's
do
it, Mike,
and
do
so
it.
I looked at Pat, I looked at everybody, I go, are we doing this? And they're like, if you're doing it, I go, all right. I go, I'm going to lean into it. And I fucking bang. I did 2 more shots, still with the G&T. Okay. Then I got up, and there was like Seagrams, and I fucking just did a pull off the bottle, and I just kept drinking.
Oh, jeez.
And I got light. Because again, after my surgery, I had gastric bypass surgery, so everything goes right into my bloodstream.
Right.
Like it's just within 2 drinks, because I'm a big dude.
Yeah.
And I have a high tolerance before this surgery. I could, I've only drunk 4 times in my life or whatever, but I could put it away, not like you, but this time.
What are you saying about me?
The Hammer King. I'll start that fight again. So in a couple drinks, I get fucking balmy. So I felt it after 2 shots, and then I just did like 2 more shots, and then drank the rest of the gin and tonic and hammered that. And I was like, and I got spinny and fucking flushed, and I started to sweat, and they're like, oh boy. And it was fun. I was very conscious of the fact. I'm like, guys, if I'm too much, you got to tell me. I go, I don't want to ruin the night for anybody, and it's like whatever. So, and I was having fun, and we were playing poker, and I was missing stuff, and it was really fun. But I was also, I could tell I was being talkative, and I was trying to stop talking.
Right.
And then I turned, it's that thing where I look at Gil Martin, he's on my right, and I just go, "Is this okay? Am I okay?
Yeah.
I'm not making it bad." He's like, "No, it's fine. Don't
Did
worry
anybody
about it."
record
He's
any
like,
of
"Come on,
this
Schmitty."
video-wise?
I don't, maybe.
Okay.
So wait, so then we're playing, and we started to play a game called Tonk. You ever play Tonk?
No.
Okay, it's a game where you're trying to get to as close as you can to 31 with 3 cards in your hand.
Okay.
Everybody gets 3 cards, then you're just pulling off the deck. You're trying to build your hand.
Yeah.
And when you're close, you hit the table.
Okay.
And so then everybody's got one last attempt
Okay.
to change their hand, and then you show what you had. And if you get beat at Tonk, you got to give it because it's a pip game.
It's kind of like a gut game.
Yeah.
You got to match the pot. Right?
Well, you just put in your pips. You got 3 pips, and when they're all gone, you're done.
Okay, cool.
So but if you get beat at Tonk, you've got to put in a pip.
Right. Okay.
So whatever. So we're playing Tonk, and you got to hit the table. So we're playing, and then a couple hands I get, and I fucking just blast. I hit it hard, and I was just like, and then we're playing, and it's all. I think we're having. It's all fun, whatever. And then it comes to me again about 15 minutes later. And I got the hand, and I look, and I go, "Are you ready? You ready for this?" I go, "Who's ready for this? You ready for this?" And there's like whatever, and I just fucking headbutted the table as hard as I could. I just fucking bam, and I sat up, and I'm just like, "That's right." And then you could see that was the moment, and everything turned.
Everybody like, everybody got quiet.
And then they were like, "All right," and they kind of went around with the thing. Everybody's quiet.
Whoa! Look at the time.
Well, and I started to kind of, and I knew I could feel the vibe though. It's different. Yeah. And I looked at that because I told you I kept looking at Paul and I go, "Are we cool?" And he's like, "Don't worry about it, Schmitty. Come on, we're having fun. Everything's great." And I looked at Martin and I go, "Hey," "Are we cool? Is everything cool?" And he goes, "It's a bit much." I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "You gotta take it down a lot.
Take it down.
Like you gotta." And I go, "Am I ruining the night?" And he goes, "No, but you gotta stop." I'm like, all right. And so then we continue to play, and then my favorite part is then you try to be normal, then you try to have conversations. "How's your daughter, Jack?" You know what I mean? Like everything's fine. You got a big
There's like a
spot on your head.
It's throbbing.
Yeah. And
so I heard she's a brownie leader. Is that right?
And I even told the guy because then I was like, we used to headbutt all the time when we were kids, and they were like, "Why?" And I said, because the Bears in '85 they would headbutt with their helmets. I go, so my friends and I did it. I go, because this is a true story, and I've told it on the podcast. We were at Gala West.
Yeah.
And we were fucking headbutting, and I fucking grabbed the pool table and I rammed my head as hard as I could into the pool table, and I was done. Like I was holding the bumpers, and I started to go. Dark.
Yeah.
I saw pinholes. Like I was
I've done it. I've done that. I've seen that look.
Yeah, and I'm holding the table going, don't, and I go, don't pass out, don't fall, don't pass. Like in my head, I'm going, don't. And I fought it, and I was fine. I got a big egg out of my head. But that was that pretty much nipped my headbutts in the fucking.
Yeah, every time I've headbutted anything, I've regretted it immediately.
Right.
Like immediately.
Well, we had fun doing it.
This will be
for
funny,
a while.
and then people don't respond. You go, "Oh, it's not funny."
Yeah.
And my head's killing me.
Well, so then as I sobered up, like at the end of the night, I was talking to Chip and Siegel, and I was just like, "Did I make it bad?" And they go, "No." And Chip said, "You just got to understand." He goes, "You're like a big guy, and none of us know what to do. Like if you flip, what are we supposed to do? Like we can't fight you. We don't want to.
Right.
And but also you're like we wouldn't know how to control you if you got out of control. So that's why your headbutt at the table. All of a sudden it was just like it became now they have to have a discussion.
Yeah.
Amidst, a lot of furtive glancing. Like, are we safe? Is this cool?
Well, big guy's scary. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody freaks out a little bit.
Yeah, and I understood it. You know what I mean? And I go, but it was okay, right? And they go, yeah, it was weird.
Plus you admit that's funny. Yeah, it's a weird mix because they know you and they know you don't drink, so they're like, well, where is this going?
Right. So they don't know what I'm like if I drink.
Yeah, maybe this is why he doesn't drink.
Yeah. Pat saw me drunk once before. He came here to the apartment,
right.
And we watched Van Halen get inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Right.
And he brought the Cabo Wabo tequila.
Oh, nice.
So I just fucking leaned into it, and I was just like, and I got drunk, I got loaded, and I was but laughing and having fun. I didn't get crazy, but I do remember. I was chewing on a water bottle, like a plastic water bottle, just because I liked the noise it was making. And I said, I like biting things or whatever. I remember saying that to Pat, and he's just like, my God. I think he, like, whatever. So I'm So Pat's seen it, but nobody ever saw me headbutt anything before. So.
Right.
And again, 6'2", 320.
Well, anybody headbutt something, and that's going to raise some attention.
Yeah.
But if you headbutt and then stand up and go, "That's what I'm talking about, God damn it!" Yeah, something like that. Then that's where.
Well, luckily none of that was. I just headbutted the table, and I was like, "That's right."
That's where you do the line. I don't know why they overreacted that, or just a slam to the table.
What's wrong with these guys? You get another leaf for this table. Who cares? So when you talk about how your blood sugar and stuff, I can imagine mine went bananas. Because also I'm mixing whiskey and gin. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
Oh yeah,
I heard you're not supposed to do any of that.
The number one rule
Clear liquor, brown liquor. There's 40
How'd you
rules,
feel
and
the
I
next
broke
day?
all. Huh?
How'd you feel the next day?
I will tell you that I don't get. I just because I pounded water.
Right. Water.
I was sober by the time I left the poker game.
Right.
And then I just came home and I drank like probably 2 or 3 of these before I went to sleep and took 3 aspirin and woke up and I was fine. I had no issues. A little dry tongue, but other than that, But I did that even the times I've been drunk in the past as a kid. I would always chase, like if I decided I was going to do something. Again, totally now it's like 8 times I've been drunk. And I would drink, and then I would just drink a water for every drink.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. So I knew that early on because I never wanted to be. I had one. I've got sick from drinking once, and that was in Bolingbrook. I was hanging outside of Galgano's car and vomiting like black, like literally throwing up black. It was so bad. And then the next morning I woke up and Mom wanted me to fucking mow the lawn. This is when you were gone. You were in L.A., I think.
Yeah.
And Mom wanted me. I was supposed to mow the lawn. Is it Nassau where we lived? And it was so we lived on the corner.
Yeah.
So we had the whole side piece, the whole thing in the backyard. And I was going to do it. I didn't want to because I hate yard work and whatever. But you live there. And so I went to Ma and I go, look. I go, I never do this. I go, I'm sick. I actually drank last night and I never do. And my head hurts and I just don't feel good. Can I not do it?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, okay. As long as you're honest about it, that's cool. I was 16, maybe. And and then I spent the next 2 weeks not doing it, avoiding it, going out, whatever, and got kicked out of the house after I punched Glenn in the face. But that's
I see. All right, it all works together.
So yeah, but Ma gave me that's how terrible a person I am. I went to Ma and I go, Ma, look, I got to be honest.
Just let me slide this one
time.
time.
I got a hangover. I didn't know what it was until today. Now
2 weeks later, Glenn's got a black eye. He's mowing the lawn.
He's got blood all over his face. And I'm sleeping in a car.
This is bullshit.
Walking the streets of Bolingbrook looking for open cars
Just
to sleep in.
right.
Sleeping on the back stoop at Jewel. Rummaging through the dumpster. Terrible.
You know how many kids they had? How many Schmidt kids were wandering around the streets of Bolingbrook looking for somewhere to sleep?
We had it all covered.
Yeah.
It's like whenever I play a video game and they have the map of the place and you can just you can put us all in a certain spot.
Yeah.
That's where the chaos is.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
All right, man. Tanya.
Tanya.
Tanya?
Yes.
Who will win the Mike Tyson fight?
It's funny. I just read a thing about it today. I saw there's a Facebook friend that I have, a guy. No, I think he's whatever.
Are they really going to fight?
You know who he's fighting, right?
Yes.
He's fighting Jake Paul.
Yeah.
And this guy wrote on Facebook, he's like, hey, you guys remember the Mike Tyson 30 years ago? He was a monster, he goes, but he's going to get destroyed in this fight because time, is the ultimate winner. And I'm going to tell you, that's wrong.
Yeah, it's incorrect.
Now, I will tell you this. He might not win.
Yeah.
Because Jake Paul has gotten good enough at boxing to clinch and avoid getting hit.
Right.
That's their whole key.
Right.
Like they usually fight these MMA guys who can't box.
Right.
Okay. But then if they fight anybody with any boxing, you watch both Logan and Jake,
yeah.
they lean. They get in and they grab and grab.
Yeah, they take away the jab.
And it's incredibly frustrating to watch.
Sure.
Because
I've seen that. Well, that's like when boxers don't want to fight.
Yeah.
When a boxer doesn't want to fight, he does that. And that's when the crowd used to start booing. Remember? You'd be boo.
Well, boxing to me, too, has changed. Like, I've tried to watch boxing. You'll watch certain fighters that are amazing, like fucking Gervonta Davis and those guys. They're fucking badasses.
Yeah.
But then you'll see other fights.
Have you done Fritz's podcast?
I was scheduled to do it twice. And once it fell through, it was pandemic.
You'd be perfect. Well, you're great for any of that sports.
Well, I told him, I said, I would want to come on and talk about Aaron Pryor for an hour because that was my guy, man.
Right.
At Zany's, I have a picture of Aaron Pryor in my phone. I'll show you when we're off the air. That's fucking fantastic. I don't know if you remember him, because he would come out, and when they would introduce him, he would stand like this and point his fucking glove at the opponent while the ref was saying his name. It was,
Right.
I was all about that shit when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And then he fucking knocked everybody out. He was supposed to fight Sugar Ray twice. There was a car accident once, then the second time Sugar Ray ducked him. It was terrible.
Right.
Because he was a weight class lower, but he would have moved up to fight Sugar Ray, and Sugar Ray wanted no part of it.
Yeah, you want no part of him.
Even though he's a badass, Sugar Ray's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah,
I'm not impugning him, but
no, but this is also probably later in Sugar Ray's career, right at the back end.
yeah, he wasn't. It wasn't the Sugar Ray who beat Durant.
Yeah, you don't be exactly right. So you
or the
don't
Sugar
fight
Ray
young
who-
guns at that point.
who
You
lost to
don't have-
Hagler but was given the decision.
The who?
Who lost? It's not the Sugar Ray who lost to Hagler but was given the decision.
Yeah, that one. Okay.
Infuriating.
Still.
When was the last time you watched Hagler Hearns?
Oh shit! I haven't seen it in forever.
You got to watch it.
Yeah, I
it's
gotta really
such.
watch
You
that.
watch it, and you're just staring at it because it is. If you guys out there, if you're boxing fans, go watch Hagler Hearns and watch Aaron Pryor, Alexis Arguello 1 and 2. They're both on YouTube.
Really?
Yeah, but
Aaron Pryor.
the Hearns Hagler fight, you're just staring at it, going, it's as if Jesus came down as a sport. I mean,
Right,
it's so fucking
right.
amazing to watch.
Pretty badass.
So who do I think is going to win? I'm worried that Jake Paul will win a decision because he won't let Mike Tyson punch him. I will say this: I've become, if I'm home, I'll throw on the fights because I have a way to find them.
Right.
I would never pay for those fights, but after I watched Spider Silva lose, and not only lose but get knocked down in a fight against one of the Paul brothers, I went, I can't do this anymore because it's so frustrating to watch guys who you love.
Yeah, that's
Because
why
they're old or incapacitated, get tuned up by these kids.
Now I've seen these Paul kids fight a couple of. I don't watch much fighting at all, but I watched one or two of the Paul kids fighting someone.
Yeah.
And it was frustrating to me. It was kind of annoying.
Well, the thing with them is they've trained hard and they can fight.
Yeah.
They can't fight at the level of Olympians and great boxers. Like, people bitch sometimes about the UFC because the UFC will have these shitty cards every Saturday, and I'm like, well, when I was a kid, the CBS Sports Spectacular or something, they'd have these in USA Boxing on Thursday Night Boxing, they'd have guys fighting 4-round fights who were just starting out or who were journeymen. So these fights have always existed.
Yeah, they've had these cards for a long time that always led to whoever the top two guys are. So if the top two guys aren't huge names, then you got to think if you work your way down the card, it's going to be less experienced fighters.
And the Pauls bring eyeballs to the sport.
Right.
So they're essentially the quality of these Thursday night boxers, but they get to fight old men and names because the money's there. Tyson's getting $20 million.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure.
So I'm like, of course he's fighting him. Why wouldn't he
Well,
fight
it's a
him?
whole different now because the fights back then, in order to have a big fight, it was who would draw. That's how they figured out these two guys, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So it's no different in a way. Although back then people are just going to see these guys because they're big fighters. Now, if you have a good social media presence, you can do anything else and draw people into that.
Well,
Look, it still bleeds into stand-up and acting and shit. Look how many influencers are doing TV shows and stuff.
Dude,
now.
Logan Paul is in the WWE.
Yeah.
He came in fully formed as Logan Paul. He's great.
Yeah.
I wish he wasn't.
Really?
I wanted him to suck. He's born for it. He was in Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny is the biggest music star in the world.
Yeah.
Shows up in WWE, takes it seriously, took the training seriously, and performed in 2 matches and was incredible.
Really?
And the thing is that there's
Bad Bunny was?
Yes, he was phenomenal.
Right.
And there's 2 schools of thought. There's one where you're like, that's fucking amazing. How great is that? And then also this thing where you're like, has he just exposed the business as not being as hard as everybody thought it was for years? Clearly he's a super talent and he's amazing. Well, you know who Paul Walter Hauser is?
But I think there's a third part to that. Okay, go ahead.
Do you know Paul Walter Hauser?
No, I don't.
You do. Do you ever see Blackbird on Apple?
Yes.
He was the guy he had to get to know in jail.
Okay.
The chubby
then
guy.
Yes, I know he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, then
he's wrestling next month.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Oh, is it really?
Yeah, he's putting his Emmy on the line against the guy's belt. Like it's just.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because he'll fight. He's training for 2 months.
Right.
That's the thing. If they take it seriously and you train, because again, let's put it this way: if you're Logan Paul and this era of wrestling, yes, you can do it. But back in the fucking 70s,
right.
Harley Race would break your spine because you were exposing the business. You know what
right.
I mean? That's in the old days. Jake the Snake Roberts, they'd plant you on your fucking head. They were mean. They carried fucking shivs in their boots, and they were all country songs walking. You know what I mean? That's who they were. But now everybody's on board. They're working together. They realize it's business.
Well, the crossover of wrestlers too. John Cena was naked 2 days ago at the Oscars.
Yeah.
What does that tell you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The
He and The
crossover
Rock.
is huge.
He and The Rock were both on the Oscars.
Right.
That's amazing to me.
Yeah. No, it's amazing.
It's because they they completely grew out of the business, but they still come back. Like right now, The Rock is back.
Right.
And he's fighting in WrestleMania.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Oh,
He's back,
cool.
and he's a bad guy because they tried to make him a good guy.
Yeah.
And then he took Cody Rhodes' spot, and then the fans turned on The Rock, so then The Rock just went right back into being a fucking bad guy.
He's just okay. Then I'm a bad guy. Oh,
And
that's
he's a
cool.
much better bad guy.
Of course, yeah, right.
He's always been. So.
Right.
But he's still. I will say this though, watching him, he's corny.
Sure.
Like it's different than it was 20 years ago when he was a fighter.
Yeah.
Because, he can talk in a bunch of shit, and in your brain you're just like, look, you're worth $500 million.
I know.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
you have
know.
to suspend your disbelief quite a bit.
No, you got it. Well, yeah, but that's if you're into wrestling. If you're into wrestling, you have no problem doing that. You know what I mean? You can suspend your disbelief.
Yeah.
You've seen 3-foot girls fling a referee out of a room and go, "She was really mad."
Oh my God, look how angry she
and you
is.
bought it. Yeah, you bought it 100%.
Yeah.
But you've got to have that mindset. And honestly, who gives a shit? That I would never when people make fun of that or anything that you don't disagree or agree with entertainment wise. Who cares? There's a group of people that like it. Why not?
Yeah,
Who gives a shit?
and I bitch about stuff I do, but I'm trying to not. I want to love things,
Right.
and I want people who love things to love those things.
Right.
There's no reason
the
for
cruise ship
thing
thing is a good example of that.
Yeah.
A lot of people, not just comics, but people will make fun of cruise ship people. And go, "Oh, that lifestyle's bullshit." And then when you do it a little bit, you go, "It's
Well,
not
when we were
actually."
when we were kids, I've mentioned it on the show. Boat act was a pejorative.
Right.
It was the worst thing you could call a comic besides a hack.
And even from
or
a
thief.
guest point of view, if you're younger, you're like, "Why don't I take care of a bunch of old people?"
Yeah.
That's what you think. But when you get there, you don't realize now these lines are changing, and they're very cool and hip and fun for. And there's people that cruise 20 times a year and they're just into it. And people are like, "Well, I wouldn't do that." And I'm like, "Well, then let them do it.
Yeah.
What do you care?
It
Then
exists, and let those.
then let them have their fun. You can more room than wherever you're going or whatever. You know what I mean?
And
There's enough in
getting-
the world for everybody to like something.
There really is. And getting to the disbelief thing again with The Rock, people can be like, "This is corny. He's back. It's stupid. He's a big movie star. Why would he be fighting?" But I tell you what, if you buy a ticket and you're in the arena and that fucking song, if you hip your smell, and then he's there,
Yeah.
You're like an 8-year-old.
Yeah,
you're like,
you're
"Oh my
really-
God, The
no.
Rock is here!" And then he gets in the ring, and you're like, "Oh my, he's that close! Oh
Yeah.
my God!" It's like if Elvis was fighting people.
Yeah,
You know
no,
what I mean?
it's
It's
cool.
crazy. So
Yeah.
if you invest in something that you love, and it returns that to you without making you feel like you're in contempt,
Yeah.
or go, "Oh, you like this? Whatever, you really like this?" Or the worst thing you can do is make fun of the fan.
Right.
Because then you're just you're cutting your balls off.
Yeah,
You know
you're
what I mean?
you're
It's just
losing right
foolish.
there.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to get the ones that like the good or the bad. You know what I mean? You're losing the whole base.
And that's the way it is in all entertainment.
And don't pop. You're right. Don't pop a hole in the bubble. Then walk away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the Madonna tours comes to mind because so many people died to go see her, and a lot of people are like, I wouldn't go see that train wreck. This was that. And
I have been trying to figure out a way to go. I
Have
want
you
to
really?
go.
When
I'm
is she
sure
in
it's
town here?
expensive. She's been here for 5 nights.
oh, actually, I didn't even know
She's
that.
here all next week, I think, for 3 nights. And I would go. I would fucking go. Why wouldn't you go? Again, I can tell you right now.
Springsteen's here in 3 weeks. I'm thinking to go see him.
That's a deal because I wouldn't see Springsteen.
Yeah.
Because I don't like this iteration of Springsteen.
Right.
I saw him in '84.
Yeah,
I've seen him 3 times.
Plus, I don't know if I'm going to get a chance to see him again. We're getting that
That's
right now.
that's a big thing.
Right.
So for me with Madonna, because I've seen the clips.
And her also. I don't know. I don't know if you get a chance to see her again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, she's over 60. And another thing, too, is she's doing the hits. Like, if she was doing her DJ tour where she was doing a lot of the obscure stuff and a lot of rave techno stuff, it might not be for me. But if she's coming out doing because look, I've seen the clips. I've seen the clips of like a prayer. Yeah, I think she's at the Forum for like 6
a week
nights.
or something. Okay.
But I've seen her. I worked the pit. I'll tell this story. When I was doing security back in the early '90s, she was here on the Vogue tour, the Blonde Ambition tour, or whatever it was. And so I was in the pit. I was directly in the front. So at one point, they slide the stage out, and there's a bed on it, and she would lay in the bed and do this thing. You can probably find it on YouTube at this point, And I had to duck because the fucking thing came out and almost hit me in the head. The stage slid out, and so that was the first night. I didn't know. They didn't warn me. So then the next couple nights I was there, but what would happen is when Madonna would come on stage, all of the celebrities would come out of the back. This is at the old LA Sports Arena. And they would all come into the front, and they would be by the front. And they told us, celebrities are going to be here. They don't have seats. It doesn't matter. They're celebrities. Just keep an eye on them. And if they get crate, whatever. So, I saw everybody fucking Herb Ritz and Cindy Crawford and everybody that kept coming out during the shows. So Richard Gere comes out, and he's with Herb Ritz. This is another night.
Right.
And he comes out, and people then start to get a little freaky because this is 1992 maybe.
Right.
So he's Richard fucking
prime
Gere.
Richard
Yeah.
Gere. Yeah.
So And there's these girls, and they can't stop looking at him. They're trying to talk to him, and Madonna's on stage,
Right.
and he's just trying to watch the show, and I'm kind of keeping an eye on it, you know, whatever. And they're like, hey, can we get an autograph? Can we get an autograph? They want to get an autograph, and they bothered him like a third time
During the show?
Yeah. And then they said, hey, can we get an autograph? And I go, yeah. And I leaned forward, and they had the pen, and they went to hand the pen, and I took the pen, and I go, do it afterwards. And I leaned back, and he looked at me like, thanks, like with these big eyes, like,
right?
You know, kind of like that.
Yeah.
So the show continues, and one of the girls leans forward and just puts her arms around his shoulders and she's leaning on him. And I'm like, enough. I go, you know, I go, and I hop the barricade and I'm like, look, don't touch him. He's enjoying the show. He's got a ticket like you do. Leave him alone, or you're out, all of you.
Yeah.
And so I jump back in, and he's like, thank you. He mouths, thank you. And show ends, and Herb Ritz goes to split, and Richard Gere walks over, and he waves me over, and I come over, and he hugs me.
Yeah.
And he goes, thank you for that. I love you. And he just fucking walked away.
Wow.
And I was like,
it'd have been better if you said, don't cock block me like that. Yeah. Who the fuck do you? I'm Richard fucking Gere.
Thank you for that. I love you.
Yeah.
And I was like, I love you too.
God,
Richard,
probably fucking for him.
Gere.
Good.
Yeah,
Dude, well,
he
you
was
know.
so cool. Yeah, it was amazing.
And I'm not saying neither one of us have been in that position.
No,
being out here long enough.
It is.
Yeah, you know how it is with the fans are hanging on you.
Friends.
But when you, I mean, how many times in this town you see celebrities go somewhere and, or how many times you met someone and they look at you with a look of panic, you know? And I'm always being like, I'm not a big autograph guy. I'll go, hey, so and so, I'm Lenny Schmidt. I just want to say thank you for your work or whatever. And then more times than not, they'll stop me and talk.
Yeah, there's very few people I would approach or talk to.
Yeah, I don't really.
Have to.
You're trying to be. I get it. You know what I mean? You're just trying to be left, especially if they're in a situation like dinner. Like I'm not going to go. Well, we know this from working at Baby Blues, right? We never
tell your Bryan Cranston story.
Oh, this is in the liquor aisle at Ralph's.
Yeah.
This is right after he won the Emmy. We're walking around, and me and Lily walked down, and he walked one way. I walked past him. I go, "Fuck, is that Bryan Cranston?" And I get to the end of the aisle, and I go, "I gotta say something. I gotta say something." So I turn around, I walk back, and I go, "Hey, Brian." I go, "Lenny Schmidt." I go, "Congratulations on the Emmy. I just want you to know I love your work." And he just shook my hand. He's like, "Oh, thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate it, man. Thanks. What's your name again?" I go, "Lenny." "Oh, good. Thanks. What are you doing today?" "I want to hang with my daughter." "All right. All right. Well, thanks, man. Thanks for your time." And he leaves. He's just the nicest guy in the world. And I knew he just won the Emmy. Yeah. And, you know, and every time I run into somebody, I like to say thank you. And this was a good time to say congratulations. And he'll probably never remember it. But, you know, he was grateful that I didn't fucking go ape shit. You can tell they have that little look in their eye when you go, hey. And they're like, oh, where are we going?
What's this going to be?
What's this going to be?
Is this going to be Mike... beginning of poker?
Yeah.
or is this Mike halfway?
Is this headbutting the dining room table?
Poker?
Are we talking? Are we the guy going, "Am I a problem?" or the guy going, "Come on"? Which one in between?
This is okay, right? We're okay.
Which of these two levels are we going to hit here with this crazy?
Because they never know.
No, you never know. Because and that's not just a celebrity thing, dude. People are crazy now. When you're walking down Ventura Boulevard, people would jump in your face and scream.
Yeah.
And you told you about Anna getting pushed down or whatever, right? You know, I mean, it's just you never know. Weird people are out there, so if you're a celebrity, I'd be 10 times more freaked out.
I have had some really freaky stuff happen on driving Uber recently.
Yeah.
Just crazy. I'm you know, it's getting fucking bad out there, man.
Right.
I mean, it is just. And I don't want to be an old man alarmist or whatever the fuck. Because again, I always feel, because I always wind up down in, I told the story in my podcast a couple weeks ago. You know, I wound up down in South Central. Right. And I pulled up on a fight. And I had people in the car, and it turned out it was a woman getting beaten up by a guy. Like this guy was tuning her up. And I was, my whole thing is, I got to get out and stop this. You know what I mean? I got to do something.
You can't let that go.
Well, so I had people in the back seat, and this girl... Because first as I pulled up, I go, hey, we got some people settling some stuff up here. Is that going to be up? Because I had to drop somebody off right there.
That's a great way to put it. There's a transaction being made.
Well, it's because it's right from Quick Change. You know, it's like, it's just a guy settling some things. Everything's fine. So I said that, and they're just like, oh. And then as we got closer, the girl in the back seat goes, I think that's a girl. And I said, and I saw hips, and I was in my brain because the guy was engulfing her. I mean, look, it wasn't exactly a stand-up battle. I mean, he was just wailing on her. Right. There was another guy trying to break it up with like an armful of groceries. I'm like, you got to put that put down the celery,
make a choice,
and you better calm fucking Chewy down. And he's trying to get him on. Then another guy spilled out, and I had to drop somebody off right across from the fight.
Right.
So as I'm getting a little closer, I even went. I go, look. I stopped the car and I go, do we got to do something about this? Because after we learned it was a woman, I go, we got to do something about this, right? We got to do something about this. And the girl in the back seat goes, no, we live in the fucking ghetto. Go, go, go. And I was like, all right,
that's
looks good enough for her.
Pretty good point. Actually,
I just drove past.
You see this stuff all the time.
Yeah, and again, I'm not lying. I think of it every day because again, having been, predisposed to being drawn to violence and being a bouncer and every other goddamn thing that lives inside you. You get that buzz. You're like, I got to do something about this or whatever. That's this fake hero bullshit. I don't know what you want to call it, but especially if it's a woman or whatever, somebody's getting tuned up. I'm always like, when I was in a fucking like a huge 30-person fight at fucking Fox Valley Mall at the midnight movie.
Oh right.
And I was in the middle of it, just hitting people. It was fucking
shit,
amazing.
I wasn't at that fight. I remember hearing about that.
Dude, it was so great.
It was so great.
Well, because it was awesome. Because
it does sound so not great to me.
Well, because
right
all of a sudden it was like a lot of milling about and a lot of yelling and a lot of talking, and a lot of this and a lot of that, and then all of a sudden just it looked like it was over, and a dude was leaving, and a dude came up from behind and reached around and dropped him. And then everybody was like, let's dance.
That's like,
and I didn't.
That was like Lord of the Rings.
And I had no enemies in this fight. Yeah. I was with my friends, and they didn't, because they didn't come up there because they're people.
Sure, they're human.
But I'm just like, I'm like Belushi, like with the fucking pirate costume, and it just turns into this brawl. I just start hitting people and just grabbing dudes and throwing them in the fucking wall and body checking dudes. And it was like a mosh pit. It was just fucking great. It was so fun. And then it ended, and it's like we all dust ourselves off, and I go sit with my friends, and they're like, what the fuck happened up there? And I'm like, dude, I don't know, man. It was wild.
All right, I got people chiming in. We got to say hello. First of all, Brenda was here. Hi, Brenda. I'm glad you finally made it. I'm glad she had trouble signing in.
Brenda?
Yeah, Brenda.
Hi, Brenda.
Brenda Runyon, who you spoke to some of these people before. Scott Sarna said, the talent protects the talent. I assume that's a reference to the Richard Gere story.
I think it is.
Probably I didn't get to it till too late. I apologize. But Brenda's here. And our cousin Jeff is here. Jeff Rutherford is here. Hey, what's up, Jeff? How are you, buddy?
Hi, Jeff. What's happening, man?
Man, where are you at? Are you in North Carolina? Is he in North Carolina?
Might be.
Wait, no. Oh, I thought he just said. Oh, okay. I thought it meant something else.
No, the second you shouted him out, he left. He was like, I can't be seen.
Oh, no. They know I'm, they know I'm here. All right, okay. There we go.
Am I supposed to be filling while you're scrolling?
No,
I never know.
My fan base is used to me. They're dead air, right. The occasional dead air. But we're almost at an hour, man. We're almost. Yeah, this is good. Okay, there's no fight. Here we go. There's no great fight greater. Yeah, Jeff is here. There's no fight greater than who is better at pool in Grandma's basement during Christmas.
Oh,
yes, that's an Aunt Marge reference to those of you.
That's a fight I lose all the time.
I'm a terrible pool player as well. I'm not good.
You know what I've learned as I've gotten older? I was just having this discussion with somebody.
What?
Things I would love to be great at.
Yeah.
Chess.
Yeah.
Pool. Those billiards, whatever. You have to go slow. You have to concentrate.
Yeah.
And I've been told I have any number of HDs, the ADHD, the ADD, all diagnosed by listeners. By the way, I've never. Although I had one therapist. I told you this story. I went to one therapist. This is a million years ago, and at the end, she was like, "You need Ritalin." Like, I'm going to write you a script. Like, you should get on some Ritalin.
Did you try it?
Well, all right. Well, here's the thing. I spent most of the appointment asking her about her anklet. Because her legs were crossed and she had an anklet on, and I couldn't stop staring at it and talking about it, whatever. And then we talked about some.
Okay.
But then I kept on, and I think maybe perhaps diverting from what I was going through to her anklet was where she went, "You need pills," like right away.
Right.
But she gave me a prescription, and no, I did not. I never filled it. In fact, I had a corkboard on this wall above, because my desk used to face this wall.
Right.
And I had a corkboard, and I literally put it on the corkboard so I would always remember
that you were supposed to be taking.
Yeah, I never wanted to be.
If I was on that, it'd be
my
different.
thinking has evolved. Obviously, clearly, you get older. But I mean, back then, in my brain, I was like, I don't want to be the guy who turns it over to a pill. I don't want to be the guy who couldn't figure it out on his own. I don't want to be the guy who felt like he needed that crutcher. And also, I did all this. It's funny. I did this in my one-man show a million years ago. There's the flip side is, what if I take it and it does work, but it takes away my
your creativity.
superpowers. Like my the glibness, the being.
Well,
able
Lily
to
went
speak.
through some of that with some of her meds. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? There were certain ones that she took, and she's like, I don't feel myself on this, and we would get off it and try to find something else because she didn't want to lose her creative edge on anything. And Lily's all over the place. You know that she cuts hair, she paints, she does all kinds of stuff. But she was like, and Vesta kind of felt that way too early on. But Lily for sure, she's like, so that's why we just kept finding one that didn't affect her creativity.
By the way, I went to. I did not fill that prescription, and I went to reschedule a second appointment, and that woman quit the business.
I'm sure she did. She probably creeped out because you're staring at her ankle.
She literally, that was it. She was done.
She's like, I can't do this anymore. And just
So
wrote her last
that was a
script.
badge of honor for me. I was like, I made this woman quit the business after one episode. By the way, I call a therapy session an episode. Maybe that's part of my problem.
Jeff's service is really bad, but he's in Oklahoma somewhere. Nice. Where in Oklahoma? Let me know, dude. I get out that way every once in a while. Robin wants to play me in pools. Robin runs a pool tournament.
Oh, well, good.
Yeah, she
you
wants
get
to
fleeced.
I'll play in pool, but I need a 9-ball lead. Does that make sense?
Not if she runs a tournament. She needs to be giving you a 9-ball lead.
Gar says you look like Eberflus.
Me or you?
Yeah, you.
Oh, do I?
Mike is an uncanny.
Well, you know what's funny? He looks really good now because he got a fade and he grew a beard.
Yeah, Gar looks
And
sharp.
so, not Gar, fucking Eberflus.
You haven't
Gar's got
seen,
eyebrow
hey, you haven't
cut.
seen Gar's
Gar,
fake.
I'm
Fuck
sure he looks
you.
fantastic.
Don't cut him short.
But Eberflus, he showed up at the combine and stuff. And now it's funny.
Well,
all
I
these-
saw him out with LaFleur the other day.
Yeah, these Bear fans are all like, what did he do? Like, why did he looks amazing. Like, they're like, his wife gave him some thing because he's got a fade. So this is completely true to Gar's point. I need a haircut, clearly. And I've been, I usually just shave the fucking sides and back. It's gone, I leave the top. And in my brain, I was like, could I pull off a fade? Like, I don't even know. There's a couple of barbershops, like, real barbershops around here.
Yeah.
And I wanted to come in and just go, because again, because once Travis Kelce started dating Taylor Swift, and everybody made a big deal about his haircut, and he has a fade, and they called it the Travis Kelce
so
cut.
you'll get like a Taylor Swift if you get a fade? Is that
I'm
where
not
this is
thinking that at
going?
all. Clearly not.
Interesting.
No.
Let me know if that works.
No, but I'm just wondering again, because we had this discussion in November at Zany's. I was wondering if my haircut and as being a big dude was too severe for being on stage, because what I was hearing from people at that week in Zany's, people would come up to me. I heard it 5 times, and they would be like, you're really funny. Like, you have to really think about your jokes. Like, I had to really, like, it wasn't what I expected. Like, I had to really, it was great. It made me think and then laugh.
So you thinking maybe you should come across more
Well, because once I get up on
physically
stage,
that way,
again,
or your appearance should be more along?
well, I'm never gonna be Woody Allen, but I mean, I'm again 6'2", and at the time, there I was 350, so you're a big guy, and that haircut is all, it's. I mean, I do, whether I'm intimidating or not, at first blush before I even open my mouth, you're like, fuck. I mean, I just the truth.
Yeah.
So then I talk. And if I get too ranty or talk too fast, then they get nervous, almost like the poker game.
Yeah.
Where we don't know what's going to happen here. Why is he losing his mind? Like I'm not Kinnison, but at the same time I can talk quickly.
Yeah.
But also I use language that's smart or makes you think or makes you, and so it's better.
Yeah, you're
for me
able
slow
to
down.
articulate also.
So I'm learning all this as I get back on stage. Like and so I'm wondering. So that's why the whole point of it was, should I change my haircut? Like at this time when I go in,
what if you wore like a 3-piece wool suit with round spectacles?
Oh, well, I don't. You know what? It's what movie is it? Oh, there's a movie in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Pitt is wearing the Elvis sunglasses.
Yes.
And he takes them off, and like one of the things catches behind his ear. And I always thought it looked great.
Yeah.
Because there's also those wire spectacles that you put around your ear. They pull off. They look weird.
Yeah.
But again, also there's another issue too. I have a giant head.
Yeah.
Like I wear a size 8 baseball hat.
Yeah.
So what haircut isn't going to make it look like a fucking parade float? You know what I mean?
Right.
So I don't know. It's all this stuff's in play, and I don't have a wife or anybody to tell me things that I should do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
have the girls. The daughters are.
I am never turning myself loose in front of that, and that's not happening. I'll hide forever. I will just
Really?
like,
I run to them all the time. And is this what do you think? Well, yeah, that's like most of the time I wear blacks and blues anyway, and on stage for sure, I wear almost all black.
It's funny. When I lose weight, I want to wear color.
Yeah, because you look better.
Well, I feel so. Like I really. Like I
it,
wear
you feel it.
I want to wear some greens. I want to wear this. Like I wear all black all the time.
I don't do the greens and stuff.
But as I lose weight, I start to bring out, like I'll buy green T-shirts, I'll buy red shirts and stuff, and I love it.
Banana fuchsia.
I'll wear a fuchsia. One of those. I have a tape from Riddles. I should fucking put that online.
Mike's camera did freeze. Where did that happen? Oh, Mike's camera. When did that happen? That must have just happened.
I hope it just happened.
Okay.
Can people at least still hear me?
Yeah, they can hear
that's
you.
like a podcast. Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-Year-Old Boy podcast. Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-Year-Old Boy podcast. I'm behind by a couple of weeks. Wait, the camera made a beep noise.
I wonder why that happened.
So you spent an hour setting all this up, only for it to freeze in the middle.
Hey, no, we made it an hour and 5 minutes. That's pretty good.
Do you think? Let me ask you this: to our points that we were just discussing, do you think the camera has just made a decision on my haircut? It rendered its opinion. And went,
I think that's what happened.
Shut this guy down.
You know what we could do? We could flip it around this way.
Am I still frozen?
Yeah, you're still frozen.
People. Come on, people! Now smile on your brother.
It's a battery issue.
While we're doing this,
Can't
I'll
believe
still
your battery
people...
shouldn't be dead because you were on phantom power the whole. Oh, it is dead. Okay.
Your battery's dead?
Yeah, your battery's dead.
Okay.
I can get another battery. Or no, we gotta wrap this up soon anyway. So let's do this.
Yeah, let's just not. Yeah.
Let's do this. Let's just wrap this up. Look, we'll do it that way. Mike, this is the perfect way to end this podcast. Of
course,
guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in, all you guys.
Why does this camera have a toupee?
Mike's hair is. Shauna likes your hair.
Oh, that's
Brenda
nice.
says, Mike, you should wear blue.
All right.
And Gar said you look great.
You're all very nice.
And Brenda wants to see you in the turtleneck and the glasses. Okay,
my goodness.
Let's sign this off the right way. Plug whatever you want to plug.
Why does this camera have a toupee?
Because you're the second person to say that to me in 3 days. That's a windscreen.
Oh, sure it is. You keep telling yourself that, sir.
It's the same thing.
This is a windscreen. I don't know what that is at all. So what am I doing now?
Just go ahead and plug your socials. Plug whatever you want.
All right,
Podcast socials. Plug the podcast you put up twice a year.
I'm gonna plug everything because I'm a jack
Hit
off.
it.
You ready? All right.
Yeah.
You guys can get me at mike@MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You can be my friend at Facebook.com/The40-Year-Old Boy. You can follow me at Twitter.com/The40-Year-Old Boy, or is it now X.com/The40-Year-Old Boy. I'm on Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok at Mike40YOB. Find me at all of those places. I've never posted anything. I posted a Snapchat thing like 3 years ago, and I've never done a TikTok. But you can find me there. I'm Mike40YOB. Follow me and friend me and do all those cool things. And you want to tune into the podcast. It's called The 40-Year-Old Boy. It's available where all of your finer podcasts are dispensed. It's always free. That's my mistake. But still, I'm glad you're listening. But people are very kind, and I have other things to plug, but I would conflict with yours, so I won't. The 40-Year-Old Boy podcast comes out sporadically these days, but I'm trying to be better about it. It's available wherever you get your podcasts. It's available at Spotify. It's available at Amazon. It's available on via the website. I think it's at art19.com. You can find it all over the place. So go ahead and check out the 40-Year-Old Boy podcast, and all of the archives are at my YouTube channel, youtube.com/the40-year-old boy. And also I have a Twitch channel, twitch.tv/the40-year-old boy. You can go ahead and follow me there. We're rebooting everything. I'm up from the depths, 30 stories high, like Godzilla himself. So please follow me and find me at all of those places. Thank you, Lenny.
Dude, the one time I needed a boom. It helped. My arm is tired. Dude, if you're still watching, thank you so much for being here. Thumbs up. Please give a thumbs up to the video. Please subscribe to the podcast. I'd appreciate it. Subscribe on the YouTube channel. We're here every Tuesday at 6 o'clock. Mike has more shit to plug. Let me switch arms with the mic.
Just one more thing, because it would make sense because I never ever plug this.
Yeah.
Next Monday, which is the 18th, Lenny has his show at the Universal Bar and Grill. I don't know if you're in California, but it's his show at the Universal Bar and Grill, and he puts up 1 million comedians, and I will be one of them. So if you want to see both of us in the same place at the same time again, and not only that, watch us do stand-up, we'll be at the Universal Bar and Grill in Universal City, California next Monday, March 18th.
Okay, yeah, all right. So next Monday, I'll be at the Universal City Bar and Grill on March 18th. I'll be running the show all night from 7 till roughly 9-ish, and then somebody takes over to MC. But Mike and I will be there. There's 109 comics. 109 comics on that show. Also, if you're in LA that night and you're in LA the night before, I am at the Improv Sunday night. Coming out to the Improv and watch me tell my yucks at the Improv Lab at Bill Devlin's St. Patrick's Day show. 20 years running. I'm going to go 20 years. I know it's multiple years. I just don't remember exactly.
Still, 20 is good.
Thanks for being here, guys. Everybody, take care of yourselves. Let's get out of here. How do you get out of here?
Let the battery die.